Hello and welcome to Cody and Corbin Have a Podcast, the show where two former
And they
roommates
were
talk about a
roommates.
new movie every week. This week on the show, we're talking about Uncut Gems.
So I want the Celtics to cover. I want the Celtics halftime. I want Garnett points and rebounds.
What do you know?
I don't know. I just know.
Well, I'll tell you what I know. It's the dumbest fucking bet I ever heard of.
I disagree. I disagree, Gary.
I'm your host, Corbin's Vocal. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Cody Webb. Cody, is that how you would say the title of this movie?
Uncut Gems.
There it is.
Uncut Gems.
Right. Hey, we back. Guess who's back? We back. Episode 2 of the new season. I'm very excited for a couple reasons. First off, I mean, it's my pick. So, I mean, it's going to be a good episode, obviously. But, yeah, as well, I mean, we get to say Uncut Gems about as many times as possible because, you know, that's relevant right now and it's still funny. So, yeah, Corbin, how would you say this movie's actually pronounced?
I'd say the way I said it at the top of the episode, Uncut Gems. You know, like you did mention it, it is a little topical right now. We're a little late to the party, but I think it's still there a little bit. And we'll definitely get into the recent resurgence of this movie as we get into it. But as we always start the show, Cody, tell us, why did you pick Uncut Gems?
Why?
Yeah, I picked Uncut Gems for a couple reasons. First
That
off,
clip will definitely be in this video a couple times. So
I hope so.
Uncut Gems. Right. Uncut Gems. Right. Uncut Gems. Right.
Yeah, first off, I mean, I think it's just a good movie. It's a movie I really enjoy. And, you know, I'm a big fan of The Sandman, obviously, of his craft in the 90s. And, you know, obviously this is a much different movie than most of the other stuff that he's in. But, you know, it is still relevant as well. It's not really that old. I don't even know when it came out, 2019 or something, 2018. But not too old.
2019,
still in
yeah.
still in the cultural zeitgeist and everything. And it's just, I think it's a good one to talk about on the pod. Maybe because I have, you know, high thoughts on it. Corbin maybe has some a little bit lower, which is always interesting. But just as well, I think it's an interesting A24 movie with good directors. Like, there's a lot of things I think to, you know, criticize or, you know, glorify in this movie. So I thought it'd be a good one to bring to the pod.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I was thinking about it. We actually haven't done a lot of movies on this podcast that I've seen in theaters. I was going back and looking, like, obviously Dune's one, but The Martian, Dune,
National Treasure,
Spider-Man No Way Home, and The Last Jedi, and this movie now are really the only movies that I've actually seen in theaters. Obviously, it's a pretty recent one, but I think there's a lot of great things to talk about, especially because if you know me, you know I'm not a huge fan of this movie. And Cody does like it a decent bit. There's a good discussion to be had here, is what I'm trying to say. So let's get into it. Initial thoughts. Good morning, Vietnam. I'll get it started. I kind of already said it. I'm not a huge fan of this movie right off rip. I don't know what it is. Like, I think it's a great acting performance from Sandler. We'll get into that more later. I think it's an interesting story. I saw it in theaters, and I just was instantly not a huge fan of it. I think it's grown on me every time I rewatch it. I think it does get better with rewatches, but it's still just like, I think maybe a little bit of it's just like the Safdies value set and like the things they find interesting and like the stories they want to tell. I just don't think I really connect with or appreciate. Like, it's just not really for me. Good Time, another one of their films starring Robert Pattinson, who obviously is about to have a huge week. Just another movie that I don't like that much. Like, it's kind of like this like garbage, gritty people, criminal, but they're not like interesting or compassionate. They all, like, everybody sucks. There's like no good part to anybody. And in the things that they do try to reward, or like the things that bring people back, that's supposed to be good about them are just still like not the best things. Like, what's the good things about Howard in this movie, Cody? Like, what are his redeeming qualities is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
he likes basketball. He maybe loves his kids, but not, I don't know. He kind of isn't the best father.
He likes badass. No,
yeah, he has an attraction to Julia Fox. So like, I feel like that's like one of the things is like the sex appeal factor. Like, the style as well too. Like those are two things that like a male certain audience can connect with this character. And at the end of the day, dude just sucks. And I don't know. Also, I hate the ending. So
Really, we definitely disagree on that. As
I think
I'll talk a little bit later, but
I hate the ending itself. I think it's a well shot and really interesting put together, and the structure of it is cool. I just don't like just the way it ends.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And going back to what you're saying before, I mean, not all protagonists, or I don't even know if I would call them the protagonists, not all of them have to be likable. I think they just have to be interesting. And this guy's very, very interesting. Yeah, I do understand where you're coming from in a sense. I do almost completely disagree with most of what you're saying, though. I'm a big Safdie Brothers guy. I don't know why. Good time. It's not like a fun watch, but I think it's a very underrated movie. Rob Pat.
Like that dude tries to have sex with a 13-year-old in that movie.
I know. That's why I said it's a tough watch at times. It's not a fun watch. That's why I said, but I think it is a very good movie, very well directed and acted movie. And I think Benny Safdie, he plays like Robert Pattinson's brother in that too as well.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's very, very good. He just commits so hard to that role.
But he plays a disabled guy. It's great stuff, Cody.
Moving swiftly on. Back to this movie. Obviously, it's a A24 genre as well, or studio, whatever. And I wanted to hear, where do you think it ranks in this? Obviously, you're a big fan of most of those. It's got to be. Do you think this is the worst A24 movie?
Oh no, it's definitely not the worst A24 movie. I do actually have a list on my letterbox, so let me just pull it up for you really quick. I was looking at it earlier today, actually.
Very good. I'll vamp a little bit more, but yeah, basically, I mean, the thing that I like about this movie as well is a lot to do with the direction. I think the pacing at times can be slow, but when it picks up, it doesn't stop. The second and third act is almost seamless in this movie. And I think just the intensity of that last game, the first time I watched it, I was on edge. I think you're almost on edge the entire last 45 minutes of this movie.
I think the entire movie is anxiety inducing, or at least it's attempting to be. And I think that's just too much for me. I don't know if I can take it in one sitting.
What do you mean? Coming from the guy who says one of his favorite movies is
I know.
Is saying that doesn't make much sense. But as well, another fun thing I wanted to mention off the top, the first time I saw this, it was in theaters. And actually, I arrived late to the theater. I was with some of my friends, and it was raining, so we were going slow or something.
You want to blame anyone in particular for this?
I don't want to name names, but it wasn't my fault. We'll say the least there.
Okay.
But, yeah, basically, I missed the opening scene, the mining scene the first time when I watched this movie. And this was the second time I watched it. So
you haven't rewatched it since. Wow. Okay.
No, I mean, it's only been 2-3 years. It hasn't been that long. But
we were friends at this point, when this movie came out.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I'm just we haven't. How many movies have we talked about that are that recent? This is maybe the second or third. So
sure.
We talked about this movie. We both saw it within a couple of weeks of each other, and we had a discussion about this movie.
Yeah, no, I don't know what you're trying to say, but
I'm just saying off the podcast, we've already talked about the movie.
Okay, sure, yeah.
When it came out. Whereas most films, it's our first time really sitting down and discussing.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying now. Okay. Where does this rank in A24 for you? I'm sorry.
So obviously I haven't seen every A24 movie. I think there's about 100 of them.
There's a lot.
I've seen 27 that I've ranked on my letterbox. Out of 27, I ranked this movie 20th.
Okay, so it's not that low, really.
But I will say
there's probably some
there's actually some good movies that are ranked lower than this. People love Midsommar, and I've got that ranked lower.
Midsummer?
No, it's Samar. It's got an
I haven't seen
O and an R. And then Enemy, which is a Denis film, I think is worse than this. But right ahead of it, Good Time. So I do think Good Time is slightly better than this movie.
Fair. I would probably put this movie above Good Time, but both very.
I've actually got a little sandwich here. I've got the Ari Aster on either end, so I got Hereditary, and then in the middle, because I also don't really like Ari Aster's films either. In the middle, we've got Good Time and the Uncut Gems from the Safdies, and then on the other side is Midsommar. So
Midsummer. Yeah. No.
I'm saying the title of the movie. I'm sorry.
I think you're saying it wrong. But
you're making me feel pretentious for just saying the title.
Yeah, you're right. Just to conclude my initial thoughts here, I am pretty high on this movie. I do think it is carried pretty heavily by the main performance, obviously, which we will talk about later. But it's also got good supporting roles around him. The cast has good chemistry, and I mean, it is like that fun and interesting story. I think that just because of the stylistic choices as well makes it a lot more interesting. And I'll talk about that later as well. But I mean, out of the A24s I've seen, this has got to be in my top three, probably pretty easily.
I was gonna say if you had it at 2, I know it won't be 1, but I wasn't sure if you put it 2, 3.
Yeah, what's number 1?
Moonlight.
Yeah, I'd probably put Lady Bird in front of this as well.
Okay.
I'd say.
Have you seen Ex Machina?
Yeah, good movie.
Not better than this though.
I'd probably take this over Ex Machina, honestly, which is surprising because I'm a big sci-fi guy. But I mean, yeah, the top 5 you could probably switch them around a bunch, but 1, 2 is probably pretty solid. I'll throw Uncut Gems in at 3.
That's my 1, 2 as well, just in reverse order from yours. Lady Bird, Moonlight,
which is understandable. Both pretty good movies, but yeah, I'm super high on this, and I'm getting into it, dude. Let's do it.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to talk about is the uncut Joms of it all. Should we acknowledge this right off the bat?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so obviously this video has been going around of Julia Fox, and says she was Josh Safdie's muse. I'll play the clip.
So would you, because everyone's like, would you consider yourself Ye's muse?
Yeah, a little, maybe.
What does it even mean to no one that's ever been? Because I remember you were like, this is not the first time that I like. What is a muse?
I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
Right.
Uncut Gems.
Right.
Uncut Gems.
Right.
Uncut Gems.
Right.
Boom. I'm sure you've heard it.
Yeah. I don't even know what that means though. What's a muse?
Well, that was the whole point of the question. She was being asked, you say you're Kanye's muse. What does that mean? And her response is, oh, well, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he made Uncut Gems. Like, so that was her response. She didn't answer the question. She just deflected it to that. Her and Kanye West were an item for a short period of time. They're now broken up. Apparently it was heavily publicized, made fun of. There was the news article that said they broke up because she was on Goblin time too often. Which then became such a big thing that she had to address it and be like, this isn't true. It's just some weird rumor that somebody on Twitter made up. The sound of her saying Uncut Gems was huge on TikTok and was overplayed, and everyone did it. It was one of those huge trends. So what are your thoughts on the Julia Fox situation?
I think it's really funny. Also, I think when this movie came out, everyone was like, oh, wow, Julia Fox, up and coming star in Hollywood. And what is it? 3 years later, she's just an absolute joke. She's basically just Kim K, who can kind of act at this point. But I love that sound clip. I mean, I've said it 5 times already, but I could listen to that all day. I mean, just her voice as well. It's the first time I watched this movie, I was like, okay, this chick's kind of cool. She could act. She can kind of act. But on a rewatch, it's just her talking just pisses me off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. And no offense to her, I do think she's a decent actress, but just the sound her voice makes, it's just the stereotypical fucking, I don't even know, just stereotypical bitch basically.
On fucking I think it was IMDb. It referred to her she was cast because she was a New York socialite, and that was her status, and she was popular and an up and comer, and it was it's just funny to me. There's also and I don't want to say this because it's kind of bad, but the media portrayal of women is often terrible, but there's definitely been a lot of comments made of oh, in 2019 when this movie came out, Julia Fox was the most attractive person on the planet, and then now so much of I've seen a lot of discourse on Twitter of people being because there's these awful paparazzi photos where you could never look good of her and Kanye, but then people just make these comments because of that. They're like, oh, what did Josh Safdie do in 2019 to make her look so beautiful? Which is tough because it's really just people being terrible.
Yeah.
Because there's Kanye West and Kim Kardashian stands on both sides, and people are just awful. But it is interesting to see there's definitely been that Twitter, a lot of those Twitter comments of the fall from grace of, and because she's become so much more annoying. She's become this persona that nobody likes when she was like such a likable person in this movie. It's interesting to see.
That is tough. I think she's off the hook because I don't think anybody really looks good in paparazzi pictures. So
true.
Shout out Julie. You keep doing your thing and don't listen to these haters out here on Twitter.
One last thing before we move on. What do you think about the historical context of this and the way it integrates sports into the story?
I think it's interesting in the fact that it's not based off a true story, sort of making the plot around a thing that did happen, but it's not really about that at all. It's about this psychopath who doesn't know when to stop. I really like it. It makes it seem much more realistic. I think it throws it into the real world when you have an actual basketball player like Kevin Garnett, who's like fourth billing or something in this movie. I think that's an interesting choice as well in itself, and I think the whole NBA aspect actually works pretty well in the movie. If you told me that going in, it's like, oh, Adam Sandler's a psycho who's friends with Kevin Garnett, and then he's betting money on the Celtics. I'd probably say it's not going to be a very good movie, but I think just how it's directed and how it's written, how it's acted, it's actually pretty effective. Yeah,
and it's actually really impressive because it's not like they wrote this to fit Kevin Garnett or his story.
No,
they had it pretty open. They actually at one point had a different NBA player in mind, which is in my trivia.
Really? I didn't know that.
So we'll get there. But so they took it, and then they found Garnett, and it connected and it worked because basically he had a really good game in the playoffs and then a kind of below average game and then a really good game. And that's exactly what they needed, but they could have done that with any NBA player. So it's cool to see how they ended up fitting it together with Kevin Garnett. And he actually does a pretty decent job of acting. So I think it's definitely cool because it pushes the story forward. Without it, you wouldn't have it, but the story is also independent of it. And it's not based on real events. You have Kevin Garnett, are we supposed to believe that that's why he didn't perform in that one game because he didn't have the rock? I don't know.
Yes.
It does kind of fall apart when you go on beyond that because they ended up losing in the next series they played. So obviously the Opal wasn't that magical.
The finals. Yeah, it was the finals.
Yeah, to the Heat.
You know your NBA, Corbin. Come on.
Yeah, I'm a NBA legend. All right, now we're gonna move on to roll credits.
Roll credits.
Cody, what do you got for us today?
Oh man, you always start me off with this category. I'm a little nervous, but
yeah, always. 2 times we've done.
Roll credits. Yeah, if you're not familiar, we're just talking about the opening and the closing a little bit, as well as the title. Welcome to the 3rd season, baby. But honestly, I think the opening and the closing. Well, I don't really count the opening as the opening credits until we hit the opening, title shot of Uncut Gems. And it's the obvious, just to describe it briefly, it's you're working your way through the gemstones yourself, you're going through the light, you're viewing everything, you're kind of just lost in them. And I fucking love that, if I'm being honest. That might be one of my favorite, choices, directorial and just editing as well, that I really, really enjoy. And the first time when I saw that in theaters of just in general as well, I'm sure we'll talk about this in other episodes too, but when you have like an opening shot and a closing shot that are similar, I feel like the obvious one is Gone Girl, throwing it back to our first episode ever. But if you do that, I think that's very, very cool. And sort of to do it in more of a sequence than just one shot, I think is super creative as well. And it's obviously not even the same shot. It's just you're lost in this opal in a sense. And I think that's dope. But yeah, it's not really the opening. Obviously, you have like the mining and stuff. But what do you think about like the opening closing there, Corey?
I was going to talk about this in the filmmaking category. Because while this does fit in this category of opening and closing and the credits and all that, but the thing specifically is it actually goes on beyond that. In the opening goes from the gemstone to his colonoscopy inside of his body.
Yeah.
And then the closing begins through the bullet hole of his face, which is obviously a huge moment and super impactful. It goes through the bullet hole back inside of his body and then turns into the gemstone. This is the spoiler podcast. So I think that's really interesting. And like you said, yes, when movies mirror their opening and closing, it's something I learned about in my screenwriting class, specifically about how it's a good idea. It makes the story feel complete. First page, last page. Do they have some sort of mirror sides to each other? Does the story complete itself from the very beginning to the end? And this movie, completely does that. It's very like on the nose, but it's good.
Yeah, I agree. And just because it's on the nose doesn't mean it's a bad thing necessarily. But moving on as well to just like the title in general. I don't know if I'm a big fan of the title. Obviously it's got some memes, Uncut Gems, but I think they could have gotten a little bit different than just focusing on the mineral itself. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I don't know what other direction I would go with it. They obviously don't say uncut gems at all in the movie, because if they had, then maybe Julia Fox would mispronounce it now. She probably has never heard it out loud. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other ideas? Were you going to pitch something?
I mean, I'd rather go somewhere more towards
The Rock.
The anarchy of it. I don't think the gem should be the title. I think it should go more towards, make it like crazy psycho. I don't know, something like that.
Crazy rich white people.
No, but I mean, I feel like you can go a lot of different ways with the title. Obviously, you can throw out any word in the dictionary and it would probably work. But I don't know. I just don't think it's a great fit for the movie as a whole. But that's just me.
That's fair. I wanted to talk about one little thing that I noticed in the opening credits. Mm-hmm. Executive producer Martin Scorsese.
Really? I did not see that.
That surprised me when I saw it. I was like, oh, interesting. So I don't know what the connection there is. I didn't really do a ton of research, but you see Marty on a movie. It's got a little bit of air of that kind of, bloody ending, big shoot up, ton of F bombs. Yeah. It's got a little bit of that gritty crime stuff that Scorsese kind of does. So I can understand why this would be a project that he'd want to be somewhat attached to. Yeah,
that is cool. I didn't know that either. Good research.
Thank you. It's called watching the movie.
You did no research at all, yeah.
Now let's move on to stupidest part.
You stupid.
They're not. You stupid. No, I'm not.
Thank you for reciting what the
kick it, Corvino. Give me your stupidest part.
Stupidest part. I got a couple. First of all, at one point in this movie, Adam Sandler says, and I quote, "Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
I'm gonna come."
That is that's dumb. I don't think that's funny. I think it's just stupid.
You don't like him hiding in the closet?
No, that's such a weird sequence. I remember watching that in theaters and just being so uncomfortable the whole time, because there's definitely a weird thing where you're like, why is this girl with him? Right. Yeah. So you think the whole time that like she's gonna do something or not actually be interested in it, but then it's like this girl's like actually into this guy. And you like realize that throughout the movie, and it goes against type, and I appreciate that, but it's definitely interesting in that scene.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a tattoo of him on her ass.
Yeah, like you're like, oh, even when like he breaks up with her, she still comes like back with a tattoo of his name. She is obsessed. Strange
relationship, based off of Sandler's looks, but hey, I'm not here to judge, but I definitely agree. That scene is weird as well, but I think it's iconic, so I'll let it slide. I do have a couple. My first one is sort of a 2-for-1 on both sides. Just not great decision making. First off, he just lets Kevin Garnett take this very, very valuable gemstone for pretty much no reason other than that he's Kevin Garnett, which, all right, he got peer pressure. That kind of makes sense. But then he goes off and pawns Kevin Garnett's championship ring for no goddamn reason. And that sort of just kicks off, one bad decision leading to 10 more bad decisions. I don't think if he goes and pawns that ring for no reason, then he never tries to place the first bet, and he would have just paid off, his bookies or the mobsters, whatever they are, in the first place.
He makes a lot of bad decisions repeatedly. This is not the only one.
That was just to kick him off. Yeah, there's about 10 more afterwards, I would say. But I mean, the decision making off the bat doesn't make a ton of sense. And like, why would he even? KG's right. Why would he even show him this sick ass fucking gemstone if he's not going to be able to sell it to him? he's Kevin Garnett. He's gonna buy the most expensive thing in the entire store. Don't whip that out and throw it in his face and be like, oh, you can't have it. That
or even just be like, if you think it's worth $1 million, then just be like, Kevin Garnett, it's $1 million. You give it to me, you can have it. Otherwise, it's going to auction. Like that. He's like, it is for sale. It's for sale for $1 million.
Yeah. I don't know. Stupid all around. My other dumbest part, we're just gonna skip to the ending here, because fuck it. It's probably not the smartest to trap a mob boss in a glass box for 5 hours and then just let him out. I don't know. I don't know too many mob bosses. I don't know Adam Sandler personally, but I would say that's probably not the best thing to do after you just trapped a scary motherfucker in a box for 5 hours. But that's just me, just throwing out ideas here. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Not a great move on his part.
Clearly.
I mean, he never makes a good decision in this movie. So I think even that dude just gets so pissed off and he just starts shooting everybody, which I think is it's a little excessive.
That actually makes no sense. Why did he shoot his brother-in-law or whatever, cousin-in-law?
Yeah, I don't know. He kills Arno. That's kind of messed up.
For no reason.
I mean, other than like
he was mad.
Like, because what was their connection? I thought that they were like they worked together, but then it was like this guy was bad news.
Adam Sandler and Arnold, or
no. Arno and the guy who shot Arno. Were they not?
Yeah, they're definitely. I thought Arnold was the fucking boss, bro. Because in the car.
Yeah, it seemed like it. Like I thought the whole movie makes it seem like he just hired these goons.
Yeah.
To like mess with him.
Turned on him. Then he's like, "Why'd you kill him?" And then he's like, "All right, let's kill this fucking guy too."
Yeah, because that's the thing. Arno wouldn't want that because at the end of the day, it's still Adam Sandler's his brother-in-law. Like he doesn't want him dead, although he doesn't really care too much about him. But
yeah, still, I mean, it doesn't make a ton of sense, but whatever.
No.
You got any dumb parts?
Yeah, I got some more. So I just really think the sound mixing in this movie is not very good.
Oh, I disagree.
You think it's well mixed?
I like it, but go ahead.
I mean, I hate it. Like when I saw it in theater, especially because it was so loud and like the bass came through, like I couldn't understand half of what Adam Sandler was saying. Now watching it at home on a computer or worse speakers with, subtitles, it's fine. I think that's probably what makes the movie a little bit better. But I didn't understand half of what Adam Sandler was spitting out his mouth. He was making no sense to me. And the mixing was the main problem with that. It would be like loud sounds of background dialogue over top of it and like people and just like weird background noise at all points and super loud music. And it just didn't flow together. And listen, sound mixing isn't easy. And I know that this was probably a little intentional, but I just really hate it.
Yeah, I think it's straight up just a directorial choice. I mean, obviously, it's not like perfect mixing where you can hear everything they're saying in the club. I was going to talk about this. This is going to be my filmmaking thing because I didn't have much. But I think it's just very unique and very cool. Like in loud areas, they said, fuck it, dude. We're going to run the sound like it would actually be in this situation. I think off the bat, obviously, that first scene with KG and all the bros in a store or whatever, like you can't understand what half the time they're saying, and I feel like that's how the conversation would go. It makes it feel like super whatever it was, genuine to me, and it kind of takes me out of it. I'm watching a movie and it kind of feels like a documentary at that point, which I think is super cool. And it's also like something I don't think I've really seen in any other movie done like that before, where they genuinely try to make it like you don't need to hear half the crap that's coming out of these people's mouth because you wouldn't hear it in real life. I think that's kind of cool and obviously super unique. But I do understand it's not good mixing, but I do think it's very intentional.
I think the Kevin Garnett stuff in this movie works really well. I don't think the Weeknd stuff works. What are your thoughts, Cody?
Yeah, I'm not too sure why the Weeknd's in this movie. Other than, he gets a couple songs on the soundtrack.
So I was looking into it, and like the Weeknd was like one thing that they really wanted. So they had a different NBA player in mind. Mm-hmm. And then when they moved away from that, they found like they had the Weeknd set up, and like, cause he was like popular at the time, like in New York, he was starting to get big. So like he was the perfect person. So then they just needed to find like a player that was playing near New York during that time. That's why like the Philadelphia and the Celtics, like the Kevin Garnett series works so perfectly. So yeah. I just don't like the Weeknd stuff at all though. I think he's not a good actor. I think he's like
one real scene, and
he's like an awful person, which I guess was intentional. I thought it was weird. It's like, why would the Weeknd agree to like be this like himself, but be the worst person in the world? Just like doing coke with Julia Fox in the bathroom. And I guess he said that it was like, yeah, this is like how I was that douchey back then. So I just decided to play it that way, which I mean, I guess fair enough. But I think it's just a weird inclusion in the story. You don't need it. I think the Kevin Garnett stuff you do need. But I think the Weeknd is so unnecessary. It's just like almost like, oh, hey, we have the Weeknd in this movie, and like that's a selling point.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Actually, I think that is probably the weak point in the movie. I mean, he's in it for what, like 15 minutes, and that scene's pretty much as useless. I mean, it is cool with the sound mixing and everything, and it's cool visually with the black light. But I mean, that scene really adds nothing to it other than, you know, Julia Fox rubbing him up a little bit. But
the way Damani's like orange hoodie sick. Glows, and that looks incredible. That is really great. Okay, that's all my stupidest parts. So we'll move on to favorite scene.
She is very gorgeous to me.
Cody, what's your favorite scene?
I have a couple. First off the bat, I was talking about it a little bit earlier, the car scene where you got all the guys put, you know, all jumbled in the back seat, and they're all just screaming at Sandler. I think the dialogue's super interesting and very, very funny. I think that's probably the funniest scene in the movie. The specific line where he says, "I heard you're resurfacing your outdoor pool." I don't know why, but I love that line. Super funny. And then they just strip him down and throw him in his own trunk. I think it's really funny. He's got his daughter's play, and everybody's pissed. Dina Menzel's pissed off, and I think comically, that's probably the best scene in the movie. I do have another, but I want to throw it over to you.
So like I said, I don't like the ending, but I think it's extremely well shot. I think particularly like when he takes the bullet to the face, and the camera kind of like falls back with his body, and it points up at the ceiling to the mirrors looking down at him, and then we get a continuation of that shot later. I think that's incredible filmmaking right there. Just a fantastic shot. So I got to give props to that scene.
Yeah, and I'll jump right in. That was my second pick. More specifically, the entire ending. But that shot is awesome when it shoots up to the mirrors on the wall. Very, very cool. I mean, I'm not here to defend the ending right now, dude. I don't think this ending's good. I think it's fucking perfect. On the first watch, I mean, it's just pure shock. I don't know about you, but in the theater, I was just jolted when that mofo got shot in the face. And I think the execution of it is very good as well, because it just goes straight into, you know, these guys are assholes, whatever. But that's only like 30 seconds, and then it just shoots into the closing shot that I was talking about, where you're lost in the gym again, and you're kind of like, maybe this guy looked in the gym for a little bit too long. What's going on with this thing? But I do think that ending, it's up there for me. Like, that's a 10 out of 10 ending. You could put that up with a lot of different endings in film, and I could argue all day and night about it. So
Departed.
I mean, I would probably take The Departed over it, Rat or No Rat. But there's a lot.
No Rat for sure, but yeah.
Maybe. There's a lot of obviously very, very good and classic movie endings that you can compare this to. But I'm here to stand for this, man. I really enjoy the conclusion of this movie, and I think that's one of the hardest things to do when you're making a movie is make a very good ending. And I think they did it pretty flawlessly here.
Yeah, well, that's just. It's an opinion of ours, and I disagree. My second scene is the Passover scene, and it's primarily because there's a big reveal in that scene, in that up to that point you don't know that Arno is his brother-in-law. So I think that's a really cool scene, the way that like when he goes to the bathroom and then Arno comes up, and just like kind of the editing of it all, and like just that reveal of he's sitting at the table and you're like, oh shit, there's that guy. Is really good. And then he goes and talks to his dad, and they have the fun little interaction, and they talk about the gym, and he's like, oh, this guy, like, but even then, like, that's like one moment when I think Adam Sandler actually is a good person because he like kind of defends him, even though he like owes this guy a bunch of money. Like he still defends him to his dad. He's like, oh, he's not that bad. And I think that's one of those moments where there is a bit of redemption for him. So
yeah, that is true. Is that his dad?
Sorry, his mother-in-law, right?
Is it? I don't know. He doesn't say dad, does he?
They call him Gooey.
Gooey. He probably would call him dad. That's another good scene though, where they're at the auction. He makes Gooey outbid KG. Classic stuff there, but yeah, I don't think he's his dad.
He's like the head of the family.
I'm sure whatever the Hebrew word is for Gooey, that's what it is.
Okay.
Just
Howard Bragg's Gooey.
Gooey.
It's his Gooey is his wealthy father-in-law, so it's Idina Menzel's dad.
Okay. Yeah. That's what you said on the second try.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to say his dad.
No, you're good. You're kind of right. I didn't know.
So like his relationship to him, he's like the son-in-law that he likes.
Right.
So.
Which is fair. I mean, if Adam Sandler was my son-in-law, he'd probably be my favorite too.
Mess and all. All right, let's move on to Let's Talk Filmmaking.
We are Full Sail University. We take dreams seriously.
I'll start. So yeah, my big thing was the opening and closing of this. I already talked about that, so that's my piece. Other notes: shot on 35 millimeter film. Obviously, a very distinct look that they were trying to go for in this movie. The film versus digital debate still wages on. The reality is digital will overtake film. It's so much cheaper. It's so much easier to edit. And you can achieve just about the same looks. But listen, there's going to be people who want to stick with film. There's, proponents. Quentin Tarantino, I think, is a huge proponent of film. Fucking Euphoria of Sam Levinson. He made Kodak Ektachrome. They had to like recut it special just so they could shoot the entire season on that particular piece of film. They're proponents of it, but I don't know. It's kind of dying. They definitely make the choice 35 millimeter. They even took a pay cut just for the sake of, hey, we want to shoot this on 35 millimeter. They took less money for themselves so that they could pay for that. Also, there's just a ton of long takes in this, a lot of handheld, frantic movement back and forth between characters. A lot of the scenes, pacing wise, feel a little weird and jarring because the takes hold for, I think, longer than the average like would before a cut. So maybe you would cut back and forth on dialogue where this one will stay on one take and then it'll follow a character and then finally it'll cut to a different look, or you'll see Adam Sandler walking down the street for a really extended period of time, and it's just like following him very fast and from a weird angle. So I think it adds to the anxiety.
Yeah, that was my second thing as well, is it kind of just feels like lingering shots at times. The one that stands out to me is when he's taking out the garbage cans or the recycling cans or whatever. I think that shot, it's just like, oh man, the shot's going on fucking forever. But my main one was the sound mixing, which we did talk about. So I think we pretty much covered all of our bases before we even came to this category, which is pretty funny. But I do agree, like the sort of the way it's shot as well, it is a little bit different. I mean, there's a lot of close-ups, but not comparatively to like a ton of extreme close-up movies that we've watched before. It's sort of interesting how they even like mix it up. Like the car scenes, I think, is super strange. Almost how they film it, where when they cut to the guy in the passenger seat, like it's extreme close-up, and they cut back to Sandler and it's the entire back seat. I don't know. There's a lot of different angles. Obviously, it's hard to film in a car as well, but the lingering shots was the thing as well that stood out to me, like just shot wise.
Now it's time for weird movie detail trivia. I actually have a lot of trivia questions for you today because this movie is one that's good for trivia. So
I have two.
Okay, I'll get us started first. Okay. When his son has to take a crap and he goes up to his apartment, they first knock on the door of a gentleman and he tells his son, oh, this guy was in blank TV show.
Oh man.
Was it Family Matters, The Cosby Show, Good Times, Cheers, The Jeffersons?
Yeah, I do know the answer, but it was just because you gave multiple choice. I could have not named this off the dome at all. I just really like at the end where he's like, it's like, what the fuck? That guy's an asshole. He's like, nah, he's a legend. But
he's in Coming to America too, and it's the real guy.
That's what he said. Yeah, it's Good Times is the answer.
Yeah, it's Good Times.
He says, do you like Good Times?
which is fitting because also the Safdie's brother was named Good Time. But yeah, the guy John Amos is the real father from Good Times and the father of Eddie Murphy's love interest in Coming to America. So thought that was cool.
Oh, yeah, I just watched that movie pretty recently. That's true. Yeah, I completely forgot he's in that. But yeah, that's such a fun cameo, I think, and I didn't even really realize it. So I don't know. Big ups Safdies. But I'll move on to my first weird movie trivia question here, and it is basketball themed off the bat here, and it's a two-parter. So we'll see how deep your basketball knowledge goes here. So first off, softball here. Who are the Celtics playing in the Eastern Conference Final in this movie?
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, obviously correct. But the follow-up is, who was their best player on that team who just recently won his first NBA championship in 2021 with the Milwaukee Bucks?
Drew Holiday.
Yeah. A lot of context clues there. But yeah, you got it. Proud of your NBA trivia today, my guy.
Look at that. I'm an NBA genius, dude. Okay. Next question for you. This one does not have multiple choices. Who plays the voice of the auctioneer that Howie argues with over the phone? The lady that he keeps calling.
Oh. I think I actually did see this somewhere, but I don't remember. It's probably
pretty recognizable female voice, I think.
Well, there's about 3 not recognizable female voices. More than that. I think it's Kristen Wiig, but I could be wrong. It could obviously be like Tina Fey or Amy Poehler or somebody, but I think it is Kristen Wiig. Is it Tina Fey?
Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton, my ass. Yeah, I would have never gotten that shit.
It's the accent. She has like an accent.
Yeah, I feel like it's not that memorable voice.
Okay, well, Tilda Swinton. Let me ask another one.
Go for it.
What current NBA player was originally supposed to be the focus of this film, but then when they had to push the filming back to the fall during the NBA season, they had to then use someone who is retired.
Do I get multiple options? I mean, multiple choice here?
I do have multiple choice.
I kick it. I have no idea.
Joel Embiid, Kyrie Irving,
No.
James Harden, LaMarcus Aldridge.
Well, Marcus Aldridge. Who's an actor? I feel like James Harden would not be a very good actor.
Well, Kevin Garnett was.
Yeah, he's got
not an actor.
I could see him being an actor. Who's the first one you said?
Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid. He can't even speak English, I don't think. Is it Kyrie?
Joel can definitely speak English. You shouldn't say that. He can definitely speak English.
I'm talking about like mannerisms. Yeah, obviously he can speak English, but can he enunciate words?
I think it would probably be problematic if you used when there's like the whole like exploitation of Africa principle in it, which I guess Kevin Garnett like still like comments on, but I think Joel Embiid is actually from Africa. So
I feel like it's gonna be James Harden, but I feel like he has no personality. If it's Kyrie, that's tough, but I'm gonna go James Harden.
Kyrie has no worse probably personality than James Harden. At least James Harden is like James Harden would be a guy who would go see Adam Sandler.
Yeah, but he has. Yeah, but I don't know.
Like in between strip clubs, he'd probably be. I don't know if he'd be staring at a gym. Either way, it's Joel Embiid was the answer. So
really,
yeah.
Wow, I would have never guessed that.
Well, the thing that I guess fits there is Sixers, Philadelphia, close to New York.
Yeah.
Irving in Cleveland, Harden,
Houston
at the time. Yeah.
Why'd you pick LaMarcus Aldridge as a throw-in?
Well, I took the 2018 All-Stars. I was looking at different ones. So
that's a terrible throw-in.
Well, they were all All-Stars in 2018. So
that was 1 out of 3 guess there. I was never gonna guess that.
What's your next question?
I can just rig on your multiple choice answers all night. But my last
You got it wrong, so
I know. Okay. My last one is actually pretty interesting, I think. And I don't know if you know this, but you can probably guess it. But the question is, out of Rotten Tomatoes, we're basing this here. Which was higher, the critic score or the audience score? And I'll give you a hint. The difference, it's not a very good hint, but it's just interesting. The difference between these is 40. So there's a very steep difference between one of them loved it and one of them fucking hated it. Which one's which?
I think it's another movie, similar scenario, The Last Jedi. It's a classic. We're kind of two ends of the coin on The Last Jedi and this movie. Because you hate The Last Jedi, but I like it a lot. I don't like this movie. Also, very critically, The Last Jedi was well regarded, the best of the new trilogy. Audience score very low.
I don't know if it was the best. I think The Force Awakens was hovering around 90. I don't know.
I'll look that up in a second. I think the critical score is higher.
That's correct. Yeah, the critic score was 92. It's pretty damn high.
The Force Awakens, 93.
Yeah. What's the last year, like 94, 92?
Probably 90, 91. Okay.
Yeah, I told you.
But 42% audience.
Yeah, that's fucking deserved. But yeah, Uncut Gems, 52.
Rise of Skywalker, 52%. Hey, there we go.
Audience?
So, yeah, no, tomato.
What was the audience? 30?
86.
Oh, get the fuck out
Why
of
do
here.
people like that movie?
Rotten Tomatoes is fucking broken. But
we're gonna talk about them in a couple episodes.
Yeah, we will. But I just went. I don't even know why I went on Rotten Tomatoes. I think I was trying to look up Adam Sandler's highest tomato meters, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, whatever.
It's got to be this movie, right? Or Pixels.
I don't know, dude. Pixels.
Yeah, critically acclaimed Pixels from Adam Sandler. His last live action role prior to this one.
It's got to be at like 40%.
Live action theatrical release role. Yeah, I'm making a joke. Halloween. Pixels is awful.
But yeah. QB Halloween, not theatrical, but still a good movie.
What Adam Sandler movie do you think is higher?
Punch Drunk Love. I
Is
don't
it?
know. He's been in a lot of shit, dude. Fucking
Punch Drunk Love is 79%. Billy Madison's not going to be that.
Hotel Transylvania. I don't fucking know. This guy's been in everything, bro.
All right, we'll move on. Billy Madison, 40% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, my point was it was 92 to 52, which I thought was interesting, but we're way past that now. You got any more trivia?
Yeah, I got two more for you.
Jesus Christ.
Based, okay, so the film is the fourth highest most uses of the F word.
Mm-hmm.
Which of the following is how many times it was said?
Fuck you.
569, 596, 659, 560.
I didn't hear anything you said. Something about fives and sixes and whatever. I'll go with fucking D.
Yes, 560 times, which puts it at fourth. SwearNet the movie uses it 935 times. Fuck uses it 857 times.
Wolf of Wall Street.
And then the Wolf of Wall Street is 569. So only 9 higher than this one.
Wow.
If you take it on fucks per minute, it's 4.15.
Nice.
Every 15 seconds, actually less than every 15 seconds, somebody says an F word in this film. And it's mostly Adam Sandler, but
it's mostly Adam Sandler. Yeah, he's doesn't have the best mouth in this movie, but yeah.
Last one, and we'll get through it quick because I know you're not going to get it. The film cast includes 1 Oscar winner and 3 Oscar nominees. Who are these people?
Why are you saying I'm not going to get it?
Okay, go ahead. Go crazy.
Let's see. Who's in this movie?
It's kind of a trick question on 2 fronts. So
I don't think it is. I think surely Idina Menzel. She won an Oscar for fucking Frozen. There's one.
What Oscar did you think she won for Frozen?
Best song. They won something. Best.
He didn't win though. She was just the actress.
What do you mean? She sang "Let It Go."
Okay.
Did that not win best? What's the category? What is that called?
Best original song?
Yeah, sure.
No, it didn't.
What beat it?
I don't know. I'll tell you. Just get back to your crap.
The Sandman. I don't think he's been nominated. Could be wrong. Who the fuck else is in this movie? Lakeith Stanfield. There you go. He's Lakeith, excuse me. Lakeith, whatever. He's
okay.
definitely
Let It Go did win, but she did not win for it because she didn't write the song.
She sang the song, bro.
She's not an Oscar winner.
Yeah, she is. You cannot tell me she's not an Oscar.
She did not. She doesn't have an Oscar statuette. I guarantee you that.
She sang it. I bet she does. But yeah, Lakeith Stanfield. He was nominated for "Sorry to Bother You," right, or something.
It was Judas and the Black Messiah.
He wasn't nominated for "Sorry to Bother You"?
No.
Really? Okay, I thought he was. But yeah, he was definitely nominated. So that's one. We'll say Sandler's nominated. Is he?
No.
Really?
This was going to be his first one, and then he got snubbed.
Who the fuck else is in this movie? There's no actors in this movie. Maybe Arnie? What's his name? I don't know what else is he in.
Arno.
That mobster guy is kind of recognizable. But I don't know
think back to an earlier question I asked.
The Weeknd.
Okay, well, yes, The Weeknd has won an Oscar.
There you go. There's one.
Think back to another earlier question I asked.
Kevin Garnett. He's not nominated for shit. You asked like 10 questions. I don't know.
Tilda Swinton has won an Oscar.
Oh, come on. She's not in this movie.
I told you it was a trick question. The Weeknd was the other one. And also Judd Hirsch, who plays Gooey, has won an Oscar, or was Oscar nominated, has not won an Oscar.
Big ups, Gooey.
Big ups to Gooey. So, all right. That's the end of the questions. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Idina Menzel, fucking Oscar winner in my book, dude. That doesn't make any sense.
And we're back. All right. Who can act?
Wow.
Cody, who can act?
Yeah, I'll start with the obvious here. It's the Sandman. Somehow he's never been nominated for an Oscar, and this is the biggest robbery by far, I would say. I'll go as far as say he should have won it, and he wasn't even nominated, but whatever. I'm not in the Academy.
Jonathan Pryce, The Two Popes, Adam Driver, Marriage Story, Leonardo DiCaprio, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Antonio Banderas, Pain and Glory, and then, of course, Joaquin Phoenix won for The Joker.
Yeah, good nominees. I don't want to rag on any of them, but get the fuck Antonio Banderas, get the hell out of there. I haven't seen it. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's very, very good. Another thing I thought that was interesting, I don't think there's a scene in this movie where Adam Sandler's not in it. So I think that's how integral he is to the part, and how the chemistry of the cast comes together. It's I mean, maybe Julia Fox and The Weeknd in the bathroom for 5 minutes, but I don't even know if that counts because he just comes running in and decks him in the face. But yeah, I'll move past him because that's pretty obvious. Lakeith Stanfield, obviously, I'd say he's probably the best actor in this movie. Is he really bad in anything? I haven't really seen it. And he's sort of like the glue guy in this movie. He's kind of the least crazy and sort of trying to hold everyone together, and at the same time kind of holding the entire movie together. So I do really appreciate his performance as well. And I did want to touch on Julia Fox and who can act, because I do think she's good for her. I mean, just her personality in general obviously is much more well known, and I don't think she's a good actress, but I think this is about as good as she could get. So I'll throw in who can act. Why not?
Yeah, and you know what? She was also Josh Safdie's muse too. So
I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
Right.
I want to talk about the Sandman for a second. We talked at the season finale about, is Steve Carell a better dramatic actor than he is comedic actor? And I mentioned this thing with Steve Carell where it was like, I just like, I can't take the Michael Scott out of it, and like I can't get away from it. And sometimes the voice goes to a certain area and it's just like, oh, there's Michael Scott on screen talking about his son is addicted to meth, and like it didn't quite work. Adam Sandler, not the same thing at all in this movie. I don't think that happened. Like, he is like fully in this character. He's doing the voice the entire time. It's like 100% committal. And I think this character might be a little closer to like maybe like whatever, like what Adam Sandler wishes he could be. So it's like, I don't know. It's a little like connect, or like maybe in a different life, Adam Sandler would have been this guy.
Right.
Had he not like turned into a comedian and instead like lived in New York and made jewelry. It's like almost like he's got like that drip to him a little bit, even though he's goofy and he's like a basketball guy. And I don't know, like I kind of see it.
It's not that far-fetched.
It's not that far-fetched. Like, you know, in the multiverse, this is probably Adam Sandler out there.
Okay.
We'll see this dude show up in Doctor Strange. So yeah, I think he's really great in this. And my general point is that I don't think he fails because of anything to do with his previous characters. Like I think he does a good job of separating himself from that. Also Lakeith, I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's fantastic in this. My favorite part of it always. Just with about everything he does. Atlanta season 3 comes out at the end of March, so we're about less than a month away, so very excited about that. And then I got to give shout out to Kevin Durant. I think he's actually pretty good in this for being, I think The Weeknd's bad, we'll get there, but I think Kevin Garnett for being not an actor is pretty solid in this movie, and he's playing himself, but that's not always an easy thing to do. So
yeah, I'm ready to kick it to who can't.
That's my opinion!
I'll get it started.
Kevin Garnett can't. Let's talk about that for a second. I think he's all right in the beginning, but as it goes farther and farther along the movie, I think he gets much worse. That last scene where he's like giving the Game 7 speech after they win, like, "Oh, don't bet against me. Game 7, I'm the best ever was." And he's like looking at the camera and shit. I think that's pretty bad.
Is that not a real interview footage?
Oh God, no! It can't be because he's acting like a fucking idiot. There's no chance. I mean, it was like such well lit too, and it was like he's like snarling at the camera, and like, "What are you talking about, man? Of course I'm going to show up in Game 7. We're not favored." There's no way he said that. I mean, also, I don't even know if they do like one-on-one interviews after you win a series because you're all like on the table celebrating together. So
yeah, okay, that's fair. It's fake. You're right.
But yeah, he's not bad for an athlete, but I think as the movie goes on, he does get progressively worse.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he does probably start off a little stronger than he does. And in hindsight, seeing now that is in fact a fake interview, then yeah, it's not the greatest. I thought he was just being a weirdo on TV, to be honest.
Let's hear your worst though. Yeah,
his dumb, stupid little son.
I got
beef with kid actors, but like not the little one, but like the one that takes the crap and the one that's like dunking the basketball.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just annoying, and he's just so disconnected from this movie, and especially the scene where he's like, "I gotta poop. Oh, Dad, I have to take a shit." Like, it's bad. I don't think it's good.
Corbin hates kid actors. I think he's fine, but he's in it for like 2 minutes. So you're a hater. But I'm not sure if you're going to talk about this person as well. But this was definitely my worst actor/actress. It is Miss Frozen herself. It's Idina Menzel. I think she is noticeably bad in this movie, and it doesn't have like the greatest cast. Like she's going against Kevin Garnett. So when you show up that bad against Kevin Garnett, not a great look. I think maybe she should have stuck to singing a little bit more. She's kind of wasted as well. It's not like she's in this movie a ton, but all of her scenes with the Sandman, I kind of just don't buy their relationship. I think she should be somebody who like can't even stand to look at this absolute monster. And, he's obviously cheating on her constantly. And when she's like laughing at him, I just don't buy it. I don't know. Like, give me somebody who actually has a little bit of hatred in their heart. And I think Idina Menzel maybe just is a little bit too pure to pull this off. She's, the Frozen superstar, and she's trying to take a dramatic turn with Adam Sandler cheating on her constantly. I don't know. Like, she's not bad, but it's noticeable that she's not a good actress. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of her in this movie.
Yeah, she's definitely underutilized for sure. I think that's the main thing. I wasn't going to specifically call her out, but
is that your only bad actor? Got anybody else want to shout
out? That's all I got.
Really, just going after the kids these days, Corbin.
The Weeknd too. I'm sorry. I mentioned it earlier. Yeah, the Weeknd's bad. The Weeknd.
That's obvious. Yeah. That's understandable.
Great. I don't think Julia Fox is great either, to be entirely honest. But
no. She's not great, but she's
You
good.
put her in Who Can Act.
Yeah, because she's good. This will be her best performance of all time, I think.
This is her peak, right?
I think this is her peak easily. I don't know what else she could do that's better than this, but that's just me.
It's fair.
What else has she been in since? I don't think anything.
She's a socialite, Cody.
Nobody will cast this idiot because she can't act.
She's been Kanye West's muse for all these years. I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a respect.
She got a breakthrough actor award at the Gotham Awards. But
yeah, this was a highly acclaimed performance.
This is her. I mean, this is her. She's in No Sudden Move. The Steven Soderbergh film.
Was she?
I watched it, but I do not remember her in that. She must have played not played a very big role. I will say that.
I have no idea.
Soderbergh's always casting weird people, though. So
yeah, that's not super surprising.
Making it into a Soderbergh film, not necessarily that hard. He'll cast anybody.
Damn, shots fired.
I mean, he produces a movie every single year. Oh, I do remember in No Sudden Move, actually. Yeah.
What'd she do?
She's like she dates somebody. I don't know. I didn't like this movie that much. I think she might be with John Hamm. Maybe. I could be wrong.
It's a good couple.
She's like the wife. I think she ends up like shooting somebody though or something.
Oh, nice.
But I don't remember what was I saying before we talk about who she is in this movie. Oh yeah, Steven Soderbergh. He makes a movie every year. He casts a crazy cast of people. It's not surprising. Julia Fox got there.
Pretty typical.
All right, let's move on to the recast.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Cody, get us started. What's your recast?
I do have a couple. The first one, I'm still open to some options here. I'm getting rid of Idina Menzel. I do just want somebody who has like just hate behind their eyes, and you can just feel the tension, sort of when they're just in the same room as the Sandman. I did have some trouble coming up with some options. I think Aubrey Plaza is a very good option, but she's a little bit on the younger side, so she doesn't really fit at all. But I do think her mannerisms are exactly what I'm looking for. So maybe a little bit older, maybe Gwyneth Paltrow. That's a bad choice. My better one, maybe Regina King. She has some comedy in her background as well, so maybe her and Sandler have good chemistry, and I think she can pull off, a little bit of the angry side. So I'm going Regina King here. I think that's probably my best option that I could pull from. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you could go a lot of different ways here. Just cast an unknown who just fucking hates Adam Sandler, and that'll probably work.
Fair enough. My recast, I'm replacing Julia Fox. I'm taking away her peak. And I'm casting an actress that her name, I might mispronounce this, and I apologize. Her name is Isa Gonzalez, I believe. She was in Baby Driver. She plays the girl that's with John Hamm in Baby Driver.
Yeah.
She's also in the Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw thing. She plays like Madam M. She showed up in I Care a Lot last year in 2020. She plays, I think, our favorite Gone Girl's girlfriend, I think, in that movie. But yeah, I think she kind of fits. She's like this young, attractive female. She's the same age as Julia Fox, but I just think she's much better of an actor. So just put a real actor is basically my point. And I think her look fits and her mannerisms fits. Like she can probably play the same type of character that Julia Fox is playing, but just do it better. So
yeah, I actually like that a lot. I think she's super good in Baby Driver. So, and I when you said that name, I didn't even know who that was, but when you said all those performances, yeah, she's actually pretty good. So why not? I do have one more, and it is basketball related. Kevin Garnett, the famous basketball player, he's gonzo. Get him out. And you know what? Who's the best basketball actor of all time? Corbin, throw me out a name here. Who are you thinking?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Hell no, it's LeBron James.
I was gonna say LeBron James is 2 for sure, but
I mean, have you seen Space Jam 2, dude? I mean,
I have. Have you?
No, You know,
I
it
didn't
doesn't.
think so.
It doesn't get much better than acting than Space Jam 2. He's actually pretty good in Trainwreck. Or is it just Trainwreck? I don't know.
That's Trainwreck.
Amy Schumer flick. You know, Amy Schumer's whatever, but I kind of like that movie. And LeBron's in it, and he's good. So, you know, if we're doing a basketball acting performance in the 21st century, I don't know how we're not going after LeBron James here. You know, I'm not sure what the Safdie brothers' budget was here. Obviously, Kevin Garnett, they probably dished out a few bucks, but, you know, just give him $1 million more and give it to LeBron. Might as well.
Well, obviously, there's the whole retired player thing of it that fit.
Yeah.
I think the story does get better when you pick somebody who, in a year when they're a champion, and they they get this magic rock and then they go on to win it all. You obviously still have to find like a series that fits and is close enough. Again, like when LeBron, I mean, they could have done, I guess, the finals
Warriors.
in
Down 3-1 against the Warriors. That would have been perfect.
But that's not near New York whatsoever.
Who fucking cares? It's in
Cleveland
California.
and fucking and Oakland. Like,
you can bend it.
I don't know.
He flies in like a couple.
I mean, the Heat would have at least been better. Like the Heat, you couldn't Heat Celtics, and at least he's in Boston. But I don't know. I don't think LeBron is the type of guy. Like I think Kevin Garnett fits the bill of the guy who would get obsessed with this weird opal gemstone a little bit more. And I don't know if LeBron's quite got that energy.
I actually buy that. I'm not gonna lie. Good counter argument there. KG, you're still in.
Let's move on to our rating.
You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong?
Mine is going to be significantly lower, so why don't we start low and end on a high note? It's actually maybe not as low as you think. I'm going to give this movie a 47 out of 69.
Fair. As mentioned, I'm going to go much, much higher. This one's tough to place for me because it's not my elite, but it's definitely on the upper echelon of good, I think. So, you know, I have a lot of movies hovering around this area for me, sort of I'd say the 58s to 62 out of 69. I'm going to go with a 61 out of 69. I think this movie.
So you are lamenting it as better than Lady Bird.
What I put a Lady Bird as
59.
Oh, well, I'll go 60 then. Sure, yeah, I'll put this above Lady Bird. Whatever. This fucking point system's a joke. I'll go 60 out of 69 to keep it closer. But I mean, yeah, I think this and Lady Bird are on similar terms, honestly, and the direction I'm both a big fan of, and the acting I'm both a big fan of, and I think this movie deserves all the credit I gave it. So yeah, Uncut Gems, big fan. 60 out of 69.
You're a big 60 guy. Uncut Gems, 60. The Martian, 60. School of Rock, 60. Gone Girl, 60.
Those are all pretty even movies, I'd say.
Yeah, fair enough. Spider-Man No Way Home, 61.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for it. Just because I like Spider-Man. It's all nostalgia, baby. Yeah, dude. If I hated Spider-Man, it'd probably be like a 45, but I really like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, even though they're shit. I don't know why, but I really enjoy watching them. So.
Right. Because you like Spider-Man, you liked Spider-Man. That concludes our talk about Uncut Gems. Any final thoughts you want to share before we move on, Cody?
I think we covered most of it, you know.
This was a good long discussion.
Yeah.
Got a lot out there.
That's sort of what I was looking for in a pick. Just something that has a lot to talk about. Not necessarily, you know, we have to agree on, or it's, you know, the best movie of all time or anything, but just some interesting stuff behind it. And yeah, I think it was a fun episode. Also, disclaimer, if you're still listening, we're filming pretty late, and you know, if the energy's a little bit off, I think we had good energy, but it is midnight, to be fair. So I do have work tomorrow. Corbin, I'm sure, has class that he won't go to, but
all right,
we're still here, baby. Let me hear your Rex, Corbin.
Well, we have a podgorithm first.
Oh, we're doing the fucking thing. Season 3.
Season 3, baby. Season 3. Season 3, new categories. All right. Got it right here. Boom. What's it say? Oh, new movie.
Not doing that.
We get a pass.
Fuck the
Here we go. This is a good one.
Men in Black. All right, you go first.
All right. Men in Black. I gotta say, I think the third Men in Black is actually the superior Men in Black. I think that's the best in the trilogy. I think the time travel stuff's really fun. I know you're a huge fan of time travel. And listen, I think in this movie, it's actually really fun. The connection to his dad at the end. I think it's good closure for both of the characters. And I think it's just the most fun and loose. I think 2 is maybe the best made, or maybe the first one, but I think this one has the most fun. And also that song, that like Pitbull remix song, baby, that's a banger. So that's my Men in Black take in 30 seconds. Cody, hit it.
Men in Black. Yeah, you're right. Time travel's good. Best use Star Trek First Contact. Men in Black. I think the first one's good. I don't even know if I'd seen the second one. And yeah, the third one's also fun with Josh Brolin, I believe, and some cool visual effects. But the first one I think is capped off perfectly with the Will Smith rap. I believe, we're talking credits here. I believe it's the closing credits. It's just a great Will Smith song about Men in Black and just like describing the movie. Probably my favorite part. Also, there's like a talking dog or something in the second one. Like I said,
the pug. I think he's in the first one too.
Yeah,
I think the villain in the bad is bad in the first one. Any thoughts on Men in Black International, Cody?
No, I do have thoughts on Men in Black and the 21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street, yeah.
Evidently, it's like one of the funniest scripts Jonah Hill's ever read. I want to fucking see that movie, dude. I love the Jump Street movies, and you throw Will Smith into those, I think that's uber fun. You get Ice Cube and Will Smith in the same room. I don't know if you can beat that. So I'm down for that movie. International, I do like Tessa Thompson, and Chris Hemsworth is funny in parts, but I never thought really that movie had anything going for it, and I don't know why they made it, to be honest, but it is what it is.
Well, it's officially March, which means it's Oscars month, and that means Will Smith is about to be an Oscar winner by the end of this month. So
I picked it. So
recommendations, Cody. What do you got?
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up.
I got a couple, and I did actually finish Peacemaker. So we both have finished it. So let's just throw spoilers out. Yeah, we were talking the other day. You were saying like Murn had a specific acting scene where that's why he was cast. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's when he's like found out he's an alien or whatever.
Yeah, I think that scene's good when he's yelling it out of bio.
I think that guy's a terrible actor, and I don't know why he's casting anything else. But yeah, Peacemaker overall, I really like the pilot. I'm not gonna lie. And after that, everything else was all right. Vigilante was very funny as well, and I think he should get his own show. I'd watch that 100%. But Robert Patrick, I just wish they cast somebody else just because I like Robert Patrick. But
sick suit, but racist.
Yeah. Other than the white horns and stuff, not a big fan of that. But yeah, I don't know. It does have like interesting themes, and it sort of does the James Gunn thing where it goes from like uber serious stuff to just ridiculous camp, which is his style. And as a show as a whole, I do enjoy it. I'd probably watch it again, but I think the acting is so bad and the plot's really not that interesting with the butterflies and shit. But I mean, the characters are what carry it, and John Cena's good, and like I said, Vigilante, and I like Adebayo as well. So yeah, overall Peacemaker, decent. What do you think?
Thoughts on Adebayo outing her mother at the end of it, and implications for that?
Yeah, I'm sure her mom's gonna kill her. I mean, Amanda Waller.
I feel like something happens to Amanda Waller at the end of everything, and it never has any resolution. Like she kills everybody at the end of the first Suicide Squad, and then we just like act like it didn't happen, and then
it's clocked in the head.
She gets clocked in the head, and then like Economos is still working for her after that, like even though he was a part of it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm
sure there'll be a season 2, but I doubt she'll be in it any more than she was in season 1. Because I mean,
oh yeah, I don't think she'll be in it either. But
they're not going to. So yeah, I mean they got Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller film scene, to be fair, but I don't know, not big bucks. What do you think about Peacemaker though?
I think it's all right. I think it's decent. I think my thoughts are about the same as what I said last week. Like, I don't know if we necessarily needed this. It was a decent watch. It was very bingeable. I don't know if I really would have been like anticipating weekly releases with it. if I'd been watching it at the time. I think this one was for me better to binge. But yeah.
I always prefer a good binge if I'm being honest. But my other Rex, obviously still working through Game of Thrones. About halfway through season 4. Rip Joffrey. About time. And Arya's a fucking badass. Oh my god. I think she's my new favorite character, but there's a lot of good characters, obviously. Sir Davos as well. Underrated. I guarantee nobody has any idea who that guy is, but he's a G. The pirate who's learning how to read. But my other recommendation, a flick I checked out last night, it's actually the first time I'd seen it, is Whiplash. It's back on Hulu. Finally.
Have you seen Pedro Pascal yet?
Yeah, Pedro showed up. Yeah, he shows up pretty early on in season 4, and yeah, I mean he's just coming after the Lannisters, which I'm cool with. You know, somebody's got to kill this old man eventually, and might as well be Pedro. So I don't know. He's probably gonna die in like an episode or something. Who isn't? But yeah, Whiplash, Damien Chazelle. Oh man, this movie's intense. This movie's very, very intense, and J.K. Simmons is a fucking psychopath. Miles Teller is also a psychopath. A couple of the best, just like dual roles I've seen against each other in a while, and another fucking movie, dude. What an ending! What a fucking ending! This is a good movie. I put 4.5 on Letterboxd, but it's creeping up to that 5 range, and it's really just the character piece. On a just single musician like that with such a prominent role in his life, just telling him he's fucking constantly shit over and over and over. I think that's very, very interesting, honestly. And I don't know, Damien Chazelle, like obviously this movie's gotten tons of good stuff, and I've wanted to watch it. It's been on my list for a while, and rightfully so. I mean, it's a hell of a movie. I'm gonna have to check out La La Land because I mean, you gotta check out everything Damien's doing, but this is definitely one of the better movies I've seen in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I think Whiplash is great. Obviously, the J.K. Simmons performance is incredible.
I think Miles Teller is just as good. I don't know, dude. I think he's crazy good in that movie.
Damien Chazelle coming out with a new movie starring Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire's a terrible actor. Sorry, he is.
Babylon, dude. I think it's an old Hollywood movie. As always, period and piece, you know. The dude loves old Hollywood. So
yeah. Got any more Rex?
So yeah, I've been super busy, haven't really gotten to watch any movies outside of a movie that I watched yesterday that we were going to talk about on the podcast, and we had some scheduling problems come up. So we'll talk about that at a later date. I have been this past weekend shooting my producing partner's short film, Colby. And then this next weekend, I'll be shooting my short film. So I've been really focusing on that, doing a lot of work with that. And then Euphoria season 2 finale was last night. Haven't watched it yet. Seen a lot of spoilers on Twitter. The show is like I don't know. It's really bad with spoilers. Like people just like as soon as it comes out, which is weird because it's a streaming show.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's not like an event-ized. I mean, it comes out at 9, but like then people can just watch it. But like spoilers are bad with the show. Like it's on Twitter the second it's over. Like no one has any respect whatsoever. So I've seen some stuff. I know a lot of stuff isn't going to get resolved because it's one episode and there's so many fucking plot lines right now. But I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out. And then the day tomorrow or today, the day this is coming out, I'm going to go see the Batman in theaters, IMAX, run it up. Robert Pattinson, do not disappoint me. Some very early reviews seem to suggest it's going to be good. So
it's been getting very, very good reviews from what I've been seeing. So I'm excited.
I am excited for that. So, Cody, you going to go see it this weekend?
Yeah. When it officially comes out, like what, Thursday or something?
Yeah, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, I'll probably see it this weekend for sure. I think I'm gonna watch the Dark Knight trilogy beforehand, just because why the fuck not? Because I want to watch the Dark Knight again too. But yeah, I'm fucking jacked.
So what do you think? Tune in next week. We're gonna talk about the Batman.
I don't know why we wouldn't.
All right, let's do it. I mean, I'm talking like full episode.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I was at that.
Check it out. Next week, we're talking Batman. Be there.
Big hype.
All right.
Uncut jobs.
Uncut jobs. That's the conclusion of our episode. Thank you for sticking with us. We'll see you next week as we discuss the Batman. And then the week after that, we've got a fun little draft planned for you. So a couple good episodes moving ahead. Peace.
Don't tell me Junior's coming on the draft.
Hey, we've got some returners and some newbies to come out and draft with us. So you'll have to be on the lookout for that.
So, stay captain.
Joms.
Uncut jobs.
Right.
So stupid.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.